Good evening, everyone. I'm Leah Cooper with your JCN News for this Thursday, September 24th. And as usual, it's great having you with us. Senators debated and passed the resolution to extend the proclamation of the emergency to October 31st this morning in the upper chamber. That's the resolution delivered by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis yesterday in the House of Assembly. President of Government Business in the Senate, Carl Bethel, says while numbers have dwindled on the Family Islands, New Providence remains a problem area with apparent rampant community spread, adding that he finds it shocking that the opposition would vote against it.
Nobody likes living under a state of emergency. And I assure the Bahamian people that we are looking at alternative legal frameworks. But the suggestion made opposite in that other place, that we could use the existing law, is simply unachievable. The law is entirely, you didn't even have a minister in 1911.
Mr. Bethel adds that he's fortified in this endeavor to create a legal framework that will arm future governments with powers under the rule of the Constitution to effectively rule for future viral and pandemic emergencies.
At the time when this thing exploded onto this world stage and exploded in the bombs, there was no other effective way to do so than to utilize a state of emergency. We looked at it, we looked at the law. So we are now trying to find something, and I can assure you that when we do come, as we are instructed by the competent authority to devise this sub-constitutional framework, I'm sure it's going to be challenged.
He says there's a fine line between what would be reasonably justifiable under the Constitution and what would be reasonably justified in terms of a national emergency.
So to find that correct area is the difficulty. It isn't easy, and it's often in a sense you have to make an estimation, and your estimation of what's reasonably justifiable, the draftsperson's estimation, my estimation, or the competent authority's estimation, may not be the estimation of the court of law as to what is reasonably justified within the terms of the Constitution as it is. So that is the balance we are seeking to strike. We want to do it carefully, though, because we don't want to have a situation where the competent authority is able to exercise rights that would violate the existing constitutional norm.
Meantime, Senator Dr. Michael Darville says the Prime Minister's explanation for the extension isn't satisfactory in his eyes.
We understand the stress that comes with governing in crises. But we say to the Prime Minister, enough is enough. Your policies are not working, and we suggest you go back to the drawing board, consult with your colleagues, particularly those who are opposing you in the public domain, and ensure that there's more of a collaborative effort.
He adds that for these reasons, he cannot support the resolution in its current form.
It is clear from the first resolution to this particular resolution that there is lack of accountability and lack of transparency on behalf of the competent authority.
The COVID-19 death toll increases by 3, with the Ministry of Health confirming the unfortunate death of 2 males who died on Tuesday, and a death that was under investigation also being confirmed as COVID-19 related. Health officials say a 73-year-old and a 49-year-old, both of New Providence, died on September 22nd, and the death that was under investigation was that of a 40-year-old female of New Providence who died on August 30th. These deaths increased the death toll to 80. Health officials also confirming additional cases of the virus in country, bringing the total to 3,618. An additional 151 new cases were reported yesterday. 128 are here in New Providence, 17 in Abaco, 4 on Grand Bahama, and 1 each on Andros and Inagua. There are now 1,594 active cases cases, 89 of which are hospitalized. 1,915 recoveries. Deaths under investigation stand at 19. Non-COVID related deaths stand at 10. 18,263 tests have been completed to date. The Pan American Health Organization warning on the spread of misinformation when it comes to a COVID-19 vaccine, with nearly 200 vaccine candidates being studied. PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, is urging governments to be transparent. Our Tyler Simonet reports.
The spreading of misinformation on vaccines costs lives. These are the words of Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, as she urged countries' governments to be transparent in their proceedings when a COVID-19 vaccine becomes available.
The success of vaccination also rests on how information is shared. Governments must provide clear guidance about the vaccines and their vaccination strategies to instill trust and to minimize confusion. Misinformation during vaccination activities costs lives. So we hope scientists do uncover an effective vaccine that offers lasting protection against COVID. But it may take a few tries before we find the right one.
Dr. Etienne stated that there have been a number of important developments in the search for the COVID-19 vaccine. And to date, there are currently nearly 200 vaccine candidates that are being studied. And while there is hope that one will work, there is no guarantee.
Early vaccines may only provide partial protection or may not work for everyone. We don't yet know which vaccine will be found safe and effective and how it will work. But we do know that if we don't prepare now, we will miss the opportunity to benefit from it quickly. The truth is, countries cannot wait to have all of the answers before they start planning and preparing to deliver a COVID vaccine.
Dr. Etienne contends that preparations for the COVID-19 vaccine will not be easy, but the Caribbean region has a strong legacy of immunization programs that will give countries a let up as they move forward. Reporting for JCN News, I'm Tyler Simonet.
You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.